are. But just as it was unacceptable for Kevin McCarthy to provide 41,000 hours of sensitive security footage to a biased talking head in an effort to rewrite what happened on January 6th. This is a new Republican playbook, apparently. Risk American safety and security to score political points.
The gentlelady's words should be struck. We do not accuse witnesses of threatening others. That is out of line and outside the rules of this committee.
That, and I can have an opinion.
You don't get to determine what's struck down.
Well, you do get an opening statement, and it's
and
about,
so let
it's
me
about
finish.
over.
So, Lawrence, first, I think it's important that we keep the focus on Kevin McCarthy here, right? When you go to the zoo and there's a sign that says, you know, don't feed the animals, it's because the animals can't help themselves, right? Tucker Carlson, he can't help himself, but us humans, we can. And so Kevin McCarthy is the one who has, you know, fed the trolls, so to speak. And so the responsibility, you know, should lie at his feet. And I want to make sure we, you know, keep holding him responsible for this and the repercussions of this, the distortion of the truth, the disinformation, and, you know, what will likely be more violence because they're glorifying or they're repainting what happened on the 6th, but also giving a blueprint.
When CNN told where the leaders were taken, a secret place where they told us we couldn't even tell people. I know, and I'm answering your question. You can ask whatever question you want, but I have the right to answer your question.
Mr. Speaker.
I'm answering his question, thank you.
All right, guys, so now a continuation of the liberal media meltdown, the fake outrage over Tucker Carlson getting access to the unreleased January 6th footage that was hidden from the public because it basically shows that the Democrats lied to the American people all throughout the January 6th commission. Now, again, the mainstream media is mainly upset with Tucker Carlson, okay? They're trying to expose Tucker Carlson. They're going after Tucker Carlson because, again, Tucker Carlson is exposing the lies of the mainstream liberal media and the Democrat Party. But also Kevin McCarthy, the leader of the Republicans in the House, is taking some heat as well, too, because he released this footage to Tucker Carlson in the first place. Again, you think that the mainstream liberal media would have an issue with the fact that this footage, which technically I guess is publicly owned, wasn't released by Nancy Pelosi, right? Why didn't Nancy Pelosi release the footage? Or why wasn't this footage played during the January 6th commission? Because if it was played during the January 6th commission hearing, then Tucker would not have had the opportunity to do this, to reveal the footage to the world, and Kevin McCarthy would have had no reason to give it to him because it was already available for everybody to see, right? Again, the media should be actually asking questions about the lack of transparency up until the transparency that was provided to us by Kevin McCarthy and Tucker Carlson. In a sane world, we will be thanking people like Tucker Carlson and Kevin McCarthy for transparency, but apparently, according to Democrats, transparency is a threat to democracy. Again, crazy world that we live in. So Kevin McCarthy was questioned by a CNN news reporter on the fake outrage over the alleged safety issues that come from Tucker Carlson releasing this footage. And Kevin McCarthy absolutely goes off. He delivers a haymaker to this CNN reporter by calling out CNN's hypocrisy on the fake outrage that they are feigning over the alleged security concerns from Tucker Carlson releasing this tape to the public. It is absolutely glorious. Kevin McCarthy is on fire. Take a look.
Mr. Speaker, because of the footage that you gave Tucker Carlson last night, he went on and said this was a mostly peaceful chaos, as he said. He downplayed Brian Sicknick's death, said it was not related to January 6th, said this was not an insurrection. Do you regret giving him this footage so he could whitewash the events of that day?
No, I said at the very beginning, transparency. And so what I wanted to produce for everybody is exactly what I said, that people could actually look at it and see what's gone on that day. So.
But Mr. Speaker, would you agree with his portrayal of what happened that day?
Look, each person can come up with their own conclusion, but what I just wanted to make sure is I had transparency.
Do you believe
because I know in CNN, I mean, I had here where you guys actually broke where we were. This was a secret location, Fort McLaren. I don't know if you got concerned by that. I don't even know from point of view of security if we could ever be taken there again. But when you broke that at CNN, that was a real concern to a lot of people. I had a real concern also when I wanted to make sure transparency. Look, the officer's death is tragic, and anytime an officer is passed in this situation, I want to make sure they're protected. I want to make sure the transparency goes forward.
Speaker McCarthy, was this in any way part of the deal that you made to win the speakership, to specifically give the content to Tucker?
The answer is no. And if you follow, I'm not sure if you were there the times before, I got asked the question in a press what I would do in the process. I've watched on January 6th committee how it was only politically driven. Now, on the January 6th committee, you couldn't, the minority side wasn't allowed to put people on. And I just thought it was fair if someone asked me the question, just transparency. So what I tried to do is be able to release the information, which we'll do to everybody. I worked with the Capitol Police. I asked them for any clips on the way that they had concern with the security level. Only one of the clips did, and we were able to change that. An interesting thing the Capitol Police told us when we went through this is that January 6th never asked them about that, the security. So that's why they showed, unfortunately, Vice President Pence when he was being escorted out. They used my office on the escort where he went out. They never asked the Capitol Police if that's showing security clearance that they shouldn't, which they didn't. They didn't ask me as well. I didn't.
The Capitol Police Chief and the Senate Republican leader both raised concerns about the footage that you gave to Tucker Carlson, the way he portrayed it. He portrayed it as a mostly peaceful day. Do you have concerns with that portrayal?
You know, you asked the same question yesterday, and let me walk you back through that. The Capitol Police Chief, we went to them and asked, is there any clips in the process of where you see, tell us any warnings? He only had one, and we cleared it up. Lo and behold, Swalwell had already put that clip out on the internet for the last year and a half. I'm not sure if you asked, based upon any of those, about what you did with CNN. When CNN told where the leaders were taken, a secret place where they told us we couldn't even tell people. I know, and I'm answering your question. You can ask whatever question you want, but I have the right to answer your question.
Mr. Speaker.
I'm answering his question, thank you. When CNN told the American public that we were at Fort McNair, I don't know if we can go back there. I don't think that's even changed. But you have now told your network, the entire world, where we go. I didn't hear one question from your network either when you would know when subpoenas were released before anybody else. I didn't know that your network got upset when you sat in Statuary Hall, when nobody else networks got anything. And I'm not sure your network got upset either when you had the Speaker of the House daughter do a documentary filming where we are in a secure place, walking through this when people weren't supposed to know. So now you're upset that we allowed somebody else just to have transparency. Now the Capitol Police was able to see it, and you know what the Capitol Police told us too is that January 6th committee never asked them. So I thank you for your question. Yes.
Yeah, so that was masterful from Kevin McCarthy. And shout out to the Freedom Caucus, because without the Freedom Caucus holding this guy accountable, holding his feet to the fire, you wouldn't see this, right? He would be bending over to the establishment, the liberal media, like Mitch McConnell, right? Talking about how terrible it is that the American people are getting transparency on what happened on January 6th. Again, can you imagine that? Can you imagine being on the side that says that transparency is a threat to democracy and imagining that you're the good guys, right? Again, can the average American, seriously, can the average American see what is happening right now and just realize that there's a problem, right? That the establishment is clearly trying to hide something because they are mad at transparency. In what world is transparency a bad thing? Which is what Kevin McCarthy stressed, right? Again, this is a Kevin McCarthy that you get when his cojones, right, is being held, right? It's being squeezed, okay? The Freedom Caucus got him by the cojones, okay? And you can get Kevin McCarthy to act right, right, even though he's probably still a snake, when, again, you're holding him accountable. This is what accountability looks like, because I've been begging for a Republican Party to be tougher with the media like Ron DeSantis, to be adversarial with the media, to go back at the media, to go on attack. You don't need to play defense, attack. Oh, why did you release this to Tucker Carlson? Transparency, right? You can decide for yourself how you want to feel about the footage, but we're just putting it out there because this is the footage, right? We think everybody should see everything that happened that day. And you can make up your own decision. Right now, the mainstream liberal media and the Democrats are mad about this because they don't believe in people being able to make their own decisions about certain narratives and certain events, right? No. You have to believe what we tell you, right? You have to believe what the mainstream liberal media tells you, or else that's a threat to democracy. Again, these are the people that accuse people on the right of being fascist, right? But these fascists, the real fascists, are always showing us how fascist they are, okay? They love censorship, right? Again, in this case, they're not trying to be transparent about the alleged greatest threat to our democracy, or the greatest attack on our democracy, the worst attack on our democracy since 9/11 or the Civil War. Depends on who you ask. But again, Kevin McCarthy did a masterful job turning this back around on them, on CNN, by saying, look, since you guys are so concerned about the security issues regarding the footage being given to Tucker Carlson, then where was all this outrage when you were straight up reporting where we were located, the secret location that we were taking to get away from these alleged rioters, right, these insurrectionists? Why are you not concerned about that? Why are you not concerned about the reporting at your own network that seemed to put politicians and officials at risk? It's funny how that works. There was no outrage and concern about Nancy Pelosi's daughter filming inside of secret locations where they take politicians. No concern about that. In fact, they praised that because Nancy Pelosi in that footage was talking about how she wanted to fight Trump, right? She wanted to box Trump. She wanted to square up with Trump. If this she can win that fight, right? They was praising that. Oh my God, Nancy Pelosi so brave. But you're not asking questions about, do you think it's appropriate for Nancy Pelosi's daughter, who I don't believe is an official in the government, right, to be filming a secret location that politicians are taken to in case there is some type of attack or real insurrection that happens at the Capitol? You think that shouldn't be questioned? But you're concerned about Tucker Carlson getting security footage from the Capitol, which gives the American people a more holistic view of what happened that day. Absolutely amazing stuff. Again, the fake outrage is just hilarious. And I love how Kevin McCarthy handled this situation, how he calmed it out. He calmly dismantled that reporter and basically shifted the narrative. That's what you have to do. Again, I just did a video about Ron DeSantis, okay, and how he's reframed the conversation around Florida allegedly banning books to say, look, these are the books that we're removing. It's porn. Do you guys agree with that? Right? You agree with porn being in school for kids? Yes or no? That's it. It's a yes or no thing. It's like, okay, how can you be opposed to that? If you're opposed to it, then we got some problems, right? It's a bad look for the Democrats to say, oh no, we agree with that. We agree with that being in schools. I think most people are they're gonna disagree with that. Just like I think with this January 6th thing, I think most people are gonna look at that footage and say, wow, I was lied to, right? We were lied to about what actually happened that day. But again, we shouldn't be surprised because this is the mainstream liberal media. This is the same media, CNN, the same outlet that tried to call the BLM protests fiery but mostly peaceful, right? As cities, as neighborhoods, as stores, and businesses burn to the ground in the background. Fiery but mostly peaceful. But they're so outraged about Tucker Carlson reframing January 6th is fiery but mostly peaceful, right? And there's no doubt in my mind the BLM riots were much more fiery and less peaceful than what happened on January 6th. It's amazing how that works. So again, good job, Kevin McCarthy. Again, just because I don't like the guy personally, I don't know him personally, but I just don't like him. He's a snake. Credit where credit is due, right? If you act right, it is what it is. He's definitely handling the media in a way that I've been begging Republicans to start handling the media, and he done it in a masterful way. I'm really am impressed by what we've seen from Kevin McCarthy so far. So, hey, let me know what you guys think. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Most importantly, share a Black conservative perspective. Peace.